Yep.
You're
Numbers.
mistaken. Actually, that's
Nope.
not correct.
Yeah, it's definitely correct.
It's not
Why not?
actually
Why isn't it correct?
because well, now my screen shows that I'm on here.
Oh, okay.
That can't be
Yep.
correct.
Can't be correct. Numbers are hard sometimes.
I'm so confused. Hey,
I blame Jeff.
we must be live though.
We definitely are.
It's sweet. Look at us go. Hey, welcome everybody. It's the Double Cup of Joe show. Must be morning.
2 cups of Joe.
Yeah. I'm your host, Joe.
And I'm your other host, Joe.
Yes. And we're a couple of Joes, and that's what makes it the Double Cup of Joe, because
Big brain.
it's really clever. Those of you who haven't caught on to that yet, welcome to catching on. It's cool. So, yes, we are fixing to have a great morning, aren't we, Joe?
Yeah, we're definitely fixing to have a great morning.
I am for sure sleep deprived,
Oh, yep.
and I'm hosting. Lucky you.
Ooh. We are going to have
So,
an awesome day then.
all right. So, yeah, today we're talking about adjusting. We're talking about the adjustment step. It's the last step of the 4-step process, the PDCA process. And today it's just the little adjustments. We're not going to talk about steering the ship hugely. We're going to talk about those tiny little adjustments. But did you ever notice there's this thing called a trim tab? You know what a trim tab is, Joe?
No, no, not at all. So,
Well,
are you
keep
going to
that
tell
in
me?
mind. We'll
Okay,
we'll
okay,
talk about the trim tab.
okay. We'll store that
Remind me.
back here.
Yeah, remind me. Yeah. So, but before we get into all that, we are going to start our day off the correct way with the 3-step process, which is the process that you should start every day with because it's the right thing to do, right?
Because we say so.
Right. So, but it's going to be fun. I see some of you are already talking about it. Like Jeff's already thankful for stuff and he's already looking forward to stuff and Jeff's ahead of the game. Look at this guy. Crazy.
Mm.
That's right, Tef. Who needs sleep anyway? Sleep is for the weak.
I would like to sleep for a week, yes.
Yeah, well, hey, that'd be so boring.
I know, I don't think I could actually do it. I'd
To
like to
sleep
get a
for a week.
full 8 hours
That
of sleep for an entire week.
I, I think that when you sleep for an entire week, they probably call that a coma.
I don't think there's a probably about that. That is a coma.
This is likely what it is. But anyway, you guys are way ahead of us. Tef's even way ahead of us. This is awesome. You guys are sweet. But yeah, step number 1. What are you thankful for? Joe, I'm turning it to you right away because you need to wake up.
Oh,
What are
okay.
you thankful for?
I'm thankful for caffeine because I need to wake up.
Me too. I had an
I
extra double cup of coffee.
well, I just have this soda pop, a nondescript cola, or it could be coffee. Who knows?
It could be coffee with fizz. Weird.
But yeah, so I am really thankful for that because I don't know if I'd be able to get up and be moving at all.
Yeah.
So, yep, I am thankful for that because, it's I was definitely worried. I'm like, yeah, sugary drinks. Those are going to be the first to go if quarantine starts affecting things,
Mm.
which is why I've been slowly cutting back.
Wait, sugary drinks will be the first to go?
No, I just figured they would be. That was my reasoning for like rationing myself. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Interesting.
Well,
Well,
because there's
cool.
always going to be water. Like I can't like I can pour that out of
I
my sink.
Hey,
So
don't be taking stuff for granted now.
Well, if there's
You
not,
never
I'm
know what's
dead,
gonna happen.
Joe. So,
What's that?
as if there's not water, then I'm dead. So I'm not
Right,
really
yeah.
worried about that. There's either always going to be water or there's not always going to be me, and those are the options.
Well, it might come to a point, hey, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe our water will all be contaminated and we'll need to boil it for like 10 minutes before we can drink it and all that stuff. That'd be something.
That would be something.
Yeah. But in there's an opportunity. You have an opportunity to boil water,
Yes, that's
which
hot.
is fun. Yeah, but then you can cool it down. But then it just takes a long time. So like if you're thirsty, it's a process, right? You got to boil the water and then let it cool and then drink it. There's
Mm.
no like going up to the drinking fountain and just getting ice cold water like sometimes.
Yeah, and I don't think it would be wise to drink it while it's still boiling either.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know if public drinking fountains are all that great of an idea these days.
Why?
Because all the
Oh,
social
coronavirus.
distancing it's like really, you're gonna put your mouth on something that like you ever see somebody go to the drinking fountain and just like make out with it?
Thankfully, no.
When they get their whole mouth on and they're just like, rah, and I'm like, whoa.
You misunderstand how this is supposed to be used.
Like exactly. Like, what are you thinking? That's so weird. But all right. Well, thankful for caffeine. Now that we've gone and derailed. Jeff's thankful for live shows. Me too, because hey, you never know what you're gonna get. Tev is thankful for the Eurovision Song Contest. That's interesting. I have never heard of that. Can you expound what that is or something? That'd be cool. I have to Google it.
Music contest.
Eurovision Song Contest. Do you have to be in Europe to enter the song contest, or can you be from anywhere?
I would assume
Rock is
that
thankful for dessert. I like dessert.
the desert. What?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I gotta fix this now. All right, cool. So, all right, that moves us to step number 2.
Ooh.
You gotta be careful because sometimes things are profane. Uh, at any rate, only European, Australia, and Russia can participate. Ah, no, no Americanos, you dang Americans. All right,
That's okay. We have good music over here anyway.
yeah, we'll have our own contest. We're gonna have a BSS contest. It's gonna be called
Mm.
BSS contest.
BSS Vision Song Contest.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
No.
So, and we're gonna
65-year-old contest. That's an interesting name,
so you have to be a 65-year-old in order to enter.
I guess.
It's the 65-year-old contest. Oh my. All right. So step number 2. What are we looking forward to? Joe, what are you looking forward to?
I am looking forward to um finally finishing up my story summaries. I was gone this weekend, so I didn't get those done. So I'm gonna finish those up today.
Oh, nice.
And I'm looking forward in that I'm looking forward to reading what people have because there were some really good stories that I got to read this past week.
Yeah, so you're gonna pick them.
I can pick them, but we'll see. I will have an order, and then I will submit that order for judgment. I will
Ah,
be summarily expelled from my.
you'll be summarily expelled.
Yes, expelled.
I don't know about that. I don't think you'll be summarily expelled, Joe. I think
You know,
you're
like
too amazing for that.
no such thing. Oh, what is? So do you have like an extra like light? You're like glowing coming off
Am
the.
I?
I don't know. Maybe that might just be this other camera or my other screen that's just doing weird things.
I'm not glowing on my screen.
Or I'm just going crazy. It's okay, Joe.
Here, does that help?
Ooh,
Now it's dark.
yeah, I can't do that with my. I would just it would just end up like completely black in here.
I can do this.
Ooh,
I can do this. Ah!
blinded by the light.
So
Oh,
anyway, all right.
oh, it's 65th year of Eurovision.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that
It's not
makes
a
more sense.
65-year-old contest. Because I sit there and I see that, like, hey, we're gonna have a contest of a bunch of 65-year-olds. Like, okay, I suppose you can have a contest of anything. Tep's looking forward to Jesse being awesome DM again. Rocka's looking forward to understanding this epic music. Ah, yeah. I'm looking forward to whatever happens next because I'm taking it one moment at a time. It's gonna be great. So that leads us to step number 3. What are you gonna do today? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do to move forward? What are you gonna do to make your life better? Joe, what are you gonna do today?
I'm I kind of wrapped this into like step number 2 by mistake. That's okay. It's always good when you're looking forward to what you're gonna do because that really makes what you're gonna do a lot easier. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably gonna do a lot of reading today.
Hmm.
I should do some reading of some of the books you recommend, but
Oh, but you got stories to read.
yeah, I do have stories to read.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read stories and story plot summaries to help write other stories. I'm just gonna do a lot of reading, and after I'm done
That's
reading, I'll
cool.
do more reading.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah,
But
it
you're
is
not going to
good.
be reading tax documents,
There's a
which is
chance I do that in the next few hours. In fact, I have to set
yeah.
up um, how my local office is gonna work with the new PPP application, the supporting documentation, and then the tax credit forms, the new 7200. So, yep, I'm gonna read tech stuff today
Ooh,
too.
it's the new 7200.
Yeah, you won't have to deal with it.
Ooh.
Yeah,
It's even got a number. Well, of course, everything has a
all of them
number
have
always.
numbers. Nobody knows
Everything.
what those numbers are, but they all have numbers.
Accountants know what those numbers are.
Yeah, your individual income tax return is a 1040. Your
Hmm.
partnership is a 1065.
Hmm.
Your corporations are 1120s. But anyway,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know how many of you really wanted to know that.
Yeah,
You could
I
all
get
find this at
1099s.
irs.gov. You do get
I
1099s.
get all kinds of 1099s. And I
This
get
is
1095 for healthcare. I get
mm,
1099s for all my income, and I get, you know, now there's a 7200. They jumped. It doesn't start with a 10 anymore.
well.
Now
That's
it starts
because
with a 72.
that's because the numbers changed a bit. It's for payroll taxes only. It's if you're paying for
Oh,
payroll. So
oh, it's different. I
yeah, you
gotcha.
don't. The numbers jump really aggressively once you get to.
That's pretty crazy. Jeff's gonna go grocery shopping. Jeff's gonna do some blogs and podcasts and editing and some meetings, and Raka's gonna do a lot. So that's awesome. And yeah, we're gonna do this show.
Yeah.
We are.
Oh, nice.
One of those
Oh,
great things we're going to do today. We're going to do this show. That's a 3-step process. What are you thankful for? What are you looking forward to? What are you going to do today to move your life forward? And, Ryan was talking about that process last night on Don't Worry Wednesday, Don't Muddle Monday, it is called. He was talking about how that how that affects your mind, and I was like, ah, he's promoting our show. Like, thanks, Ryan. You're awesome. But he's like, hey, It's all Black Static and Swerve shows. We promote them. So on Mondays, you can go see Don't Muddle Monday at 9 o'clock p.m. You can go see Don't Worry Wednesday on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. You can go see Don't Fret Friday at 9 p.m. And every morning you can be here on Double Cup of Joe show Monday through Friday. And sometimes on Saturdays and Sundays, maybe we'll start the Twitch streams again this weekend. We'll see. It's been pretty amazing. Jesse's been quite busy. He's working and doing school all at the same time. Like the guy is just impressive. But he's exhausting himself, I think.
Yeah, isn't he doing like 2 things of school while working? Like it's not like he went, here's some schooling. He's like, I'm gonna take twice as much schooling because yes.
Yeah, it's like a very intensive thing. Like he's doing this boot camp thing that's quite intensive. Uh, so anyway, so that's amazing.
Nice.
Uh-oh. Lily has got somebody bullying.
Who is it? Is
It's
it you,
not us,
Joe?
is it?
I
We're not,
hope not.
was it the YouTube notification? Was that bullying you this morning when you were like, ah, the show? Hey,
Uh,
well, all right. So what do you say we move to our topic?
okay. Sure. Sure.
Let's do that. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. How do we move there?
all about the intros.
Yep. It's
We got a
all about.
topic. Joe, you get to talk about it first.
Yep, I do get to
Oh.
talk about it. Yeah. So, hey, today we're talking about the little things, like this paperclip. It's rather small. Oh wait, different little thing. Um, so today we're actually talking about just changing what's going on in your life just slightly. Um, as Joe talked about, we're on this kind of idea of the PDCA program: the plan, do, check, and adjust. And this is specifically after you've checked yourself and you've said, I'm doing, pretty dang good. I'm going to kind of stick on the same kind of a path and make little tweaks to make it easier to get where I want to go. If I don't know how many of you drive, if you've ever driven, you drive down the road with little tiny adjustments that just keep you in your lane. You don't really see them. They're not like it's not like you're swerving back and forth like people would notice that, but it's just little tiny adjustments. Make sure you're staying in the middle of the road, driving the way you want to go. And this is kind of the same thing of you're not substantially deviating your course. You don't need to change your, GPS or anything. It's not like you're heading the wrong direction. You just make little tiny corrections to stay on course. So, this is a little bit tougher to do because it requires a lot less in this step and a lot more in the previous step of checking. So when you make little adjustments, it's harder to notice. Like if you didn't know that you were making small adjustments when you were driving, you probably wouldn't think you were making small adjustments when you're driving. And it's the same way in doing your objective, doing your plan. Is if you don't really focus on, hey, what do I need to like adjust? You're gonna think I'm on the right path. And I can tell you from personal experience and from watching people, and because it is how it is, you are not gonna hit everything perfect. You are not gonna drive a perfectly straight line from here's my plan straight to my objective. I've never met anyone who's been able to do that. If you have, you need to talk to me. You can take over this show. We would love to have you on. But this is about changing little things. So I'm gonna give a bit of an example. In my life, I find oftentimes that it's really easy for me to stay up late. Really, really easy for me to do that. So, because what I'll do is I'll get done with work, I'll hang out with my wife, and then if I've got a little bit of spare time, I'll go play some video games. But if I end my day with video games, I could stay up like super late and it could cause problems. The little adjustment is I play games for a little bit after work, and I spend time with my wife, and then we go to bed together at a reasonable hour. I haven't even really changed what I'm doing. I've just changed the order. And the end result is I sleep a full night of rest, and I'm more productive in the morning. A lot of your little adjustments aren't substantially changing what you're doing at all. It's just how can I maneuver what I'm doing to make it better? And so I want to encourage you as you are dealing with the things that you have in your life, whether or not it's with your plan or outside the realm of that plan, um, that you make sure, hey, can I make a little changes to make this work? Can I can I start with things that aren't going to really change before you start going with I'm going to really have to turn this ship around. With that, I'm going to kick it over to Joe, who's got important words to say.
I have an unimportant word to say. One. Yes.
Mm, brilliant.
Yeah. Um, no, actually, you're Joe, you are right. It's those little adjustments sometimes can make all the difference. I mean, I love it's interesting you talk about driving. I remember as a kid, I'd sit in the back seat and I'd watch my parents drive, right? And and I was always like, when they went around a corner or whatever, and they'd do the big turn with the steering wheel, like a bunch of turns, or my dad grew up driving a tractor, so it'd always be like this, like do the one hand, like turn the
Wax
wheel,
on. Wax
yeah, or
on.
like that. Um, but so but while they were going straight, they'd always be just like going like this. And I'm like, why don't they just keep it straight? You know? But it's because, we get off track a little bit. You gotta adjust. You gotta adjust. You gotta adjust. Little adjustments here. And that keeps you on track. And that's one of the important things about doing this step regularly. If you do this regularly enough while you're on your way to your goals, then all you have to do is make minor adjustments to get back on track, to stay on track. But if you go long enough and get off track, then you got to make big adjustments. We're going to talk about big adjustments tomorrow and what that can kind of look like and how that can affect you. Because sometimes you need to make some life changing big adjustments. I mean, you look at when we got hit with this whole COVID-19 deal, a lot of major adjustments happened. We, and some of
Mhm.
them legally mandated major adjustments, and some of them minor. But but if you're in pursuit of something and you want to keep things smooth and going smoothly, that's why it's great to run this process, you know, fairly frequently. So when you do this plan, do, check, adjust process, set it up so you're making continuous adjustments. That way you can keep them small, keep them easy. It's easier
Mhm.
to make a small adjustment than it is to make a big one. However,
Mhm.
I mentioned the trim tab. Do you know what a
Mhm.
trim tab is?
No, I
Joe
have no
says no,
idea.
he doesn't know what a trim tab is. A trim tab, okay, so there's a rudder on the back of a ship, right?
Mhm.
That's what steers a ship.
Yep.
The big fin thing that sticks down in the water at the back, and as it turns, it's what turns the ship, right? The trim tab is this little thing on the end of the rudder that actually makes the rudder move. The trim tab turns, and then what that does is it pulls the rudder in that direction. So, or maybe or the opposite, or whatever it is. But the trim tab is what initiates the turn. So sometimes you can make some tiny little adjustment, and what that does is it brings about a big adjustment.
Mm.
So if you maintain, if you sometimes, like Joe was talking about, sometimes the littlest differences, the littlest changes can make the biggest impact in your life. You talk about, changing your schedule just a little bit, and that changes everything about how your next day goes, right? You change
Mhm.
your evening routine just a little bit, and then your whole next day gets better or worse.
Or yeah, that's true. Could be worse.
you know. So, but it's very interesting. There are times changes in your diet make a huge impact in how you feel, make a huge impact in how well you sleep, make a huge impact in all kinds of different things. I got these glasses, right?
Hmm. Beautiful.
I had never these are just blue blockers. They're not corrective or anything. They just block blue light.
Hmm.
And I wear them when I'm going to be at my computer for long periods of time or on my phone because a lot of times when I'm doing inspections, I'm processing inspections on my phone for a couple hours at night.
Hmm.
And those blue blocker lenses, they just block the blue spectrum of light from like my phone or my screens or whatever. And that little difference, just putting those glasses on,
Hmm.
changes everything. It makes it easier for me to go to sleep because that blue light actually suppresses melatonin, which is what helps you sleep. So when you experience the blue spectrum of light, it makes your body feel like it needs to stay awake. And
Mm.
so to suppress that, at least especially at night, makes it easier to fall asleep, which then, so then you're not just laying there awake, restless. You ever have that happen where you're like laying there trying to go to sleep?
No, I get up way too early for this show to not want to
You're
go to
like,
bed.
I don't have any trouble at all falling asleep. As soon as I hit that pillow, bam, I'm
Uh,
out.
uh.
little little things like I've noticed, drinking coffee, stopping drinking coffee at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Weird things, I mean, but those little things can have huge impacts on your whole life. So you got to be mindful of those little adjustments that you're making
Mhm.
because you might make a little adjustment and it could have a tremendous impact on uh how your life goes,
Mhm.
you know. So they can and also little adjustments over time consistently bring about huge changes. You don't have to think about, "Oh my gosh, I got to make this huge turn, right now." You could start thinking, start small, make little adjustments, little adjustments, little adjustments, little adjustments, and before you know it, you're turned in a whole new direction. Your life is moving in a whole different way. It can be such an exciting thing. Oh my gosh, is that Jesse? I think Jesse just booped us.
Possibly. Oh no.
I think it's Jesse. He threatened that he might join us on this. uh-huh. That looks like Jesse. Or maybe that's you. Is that you, Joe?
No.
Did you infiltrate
You
the Black
no,
Stack
you
and
wouldn't
Swerve
hear me
channel?
if I was typing.
That's true. Welcome, Jesse. Jesse's up early. Hey.
That's big adjustments. That's tomorrow's topic.
I should not be awake. See, this is how hard Jesse's working. We were talking about this.
Hmm.
Yeah, Jesse's a busy guy right now. He's got, like I said, he's got his boot camp, he's got work, and they're doing all kinds of server maintenance and stuff but with where he's working. So yep, dude's working hard. Super proud of you, Jesse. Way to
Hmm.
be. But anyway, that's what I had about the little adjustments and the trim tab.
And trimmed.
Joe, back to you.
See, yeah, he does have the two boot camps. He's got
Two
two
boot camp.
double school, like double cup
Double
of
cup of
Joe.
boot camp.
Double... But yes, I'm dying.
Go
Oof.
to bed, Jesse.
Yes. Yes. Getting rest. And again, we're talking about little adjustments. It doesn't take a lot more rest than what you currently have to sometimes make a huge difference. Or maybe you're having too much rest. Like, figuring out how how best you sleep can make a huge impact in your life. Um, what you'll notice, we talk about a lot with this final topic of adjustment, is how important the previous three steps are. Of like, so, and it can work for anything. So, like, if we're checking our sleep, or, if you keep waking up and going, I'm tired, I need to change something, I need to make it work better, I need to figure out what am I doing wrong. Whether Joe is talking about the blue light or it could be drinking caffeine, like what little adjustment do I need to make sleep better? Like this is an important thing to do not only for like your big plans of your life, but also just the little things that you're doing. So the little adjustments to the little things that you're doing. That's that's a little interesting to say, but it's true. Like there's not really many places where making checks and adjustments to all sets of what you do can make a huge impact. Whether or not this is studying, like let's say you're hitting the books, as they say back in my day, and you're trying to learn more. Like how do you learn better? Do you need to turn off all the music? Do you need to listen to music? Like, these are all things that you have to, well, plan. Well, I'm going to do this. You have to actually do it. Then you see how it went, and then you adjust it. It can be small or big. And so the things that you have going on in your life um, are generally easy to adjust. It's easy to make little changes. I really want to talk about all the big things because it's really fun to talk about all the big things. But it's important that we sit here for a little bit and focus on the small because it's the small little day-to-day adjustments that actually move you the most. But they never make the movies.
Hmm.
You don't hear about the guy who made small adjustments to his life and you know was super successful and had kids that he loved and enjoyed living at home with his family. You don't hear about that. You hear about the guy who he screwed up really early on and then he made some bad choices and then he turned his life around in this huge way. And and one of the things we'll get in tomorrow is big adjustments are hard. They're not really as easy as little adjustments. I don't. I'll compare it to if you've got a car, there's a reason there's like performance cars and then there's just normal people cars. If you've ever tried to take a corner at like 60 in a regular car that's really sharp, it's not good for the car. It's like
It's
all of
not
the
built for that kind of
all of the
stuff.
torque, all of the stuff that your car is really pulling against itself as it goes around a corner. It's the same way with the little adjustments. Those little adjustments going down the road really don't do anything to your car. It's just we're just driving. But man, you take that corner at 60, it's really gonna want to do some things with your vehicle. Um, and so we want to talk to you today on, hey, take the time, take serious time to check what you did and what can be improved. because if you keep doing that, you can avoid a lot of these larger adjustments later on, and it's gonna be way way easier. Um, I want to give a specific example, but I can't think of one off the top of my head, and the reason is because the I didn't have to make the big adjustment because I made the small things. Like you don't recognize like when you have to make the big adjustments, which we'll get into. Like I have specific examples for tomorrow. When you have to make the big adjustments, you can look back and say, "Oh, if I had done this little thing, I wouldn't be here."
Hmm.
But if you do the little things, you don't know what the big thing would have been that you had to do because you don't have to do it. So it's a really cool process. So I'm gonna think of something, but for now I'm gonna kick it back to Joe. Got some more cool things to say.
Yeah, it's interesting. You ever see in a movie, you talk about the little adjustments never really make the movie. And that's true because there's not a whole lot of drama in that. It's not that interesting to watch somebody make those little adjustments. But if you ever watch like, the Rocky movies, or you watch, those movies where, somebody's having some kind of major victory, they've always got like some little montage where they got some cool music and they're training, and then they're doing all this stuff, and they encompass like 6 months of training in 2 minutes, right? And then all of a sudden they're ripped, and all this kind of stuff, you know.
Hmm.
But that's how that goes. Like it takes a while, and everything was a little bit of an adjustment every step of the way. I remember, man, this has to be 5 or 6 years ago when I decided to start exercising. And I didn't start with earth-shattering workouts. I started by getting up and stretching and doing some push-ups and doing some jumping jacks and doing some, whatever, just a little bit. You know, I always tried, I never had a whole lot of time for exercising. I always had to keep it like within like 30 minutes, so I never had the time to go to the gym and do a whole bunch of stuff, right? Because that's just a time commitment. Then, and then what happened was in that process, then I make a little adjustment and it gets a little bit more intense and it gets a little bit harder. And then I make another adjustment. It gets a little bit more intense, a little bit harder. And then you continue down this process. And then now 5 years later, now I'm doing stuff that I look back, and if I had a started by doing this kind of stuff, I never would have stuck with it ever because it would have been painful and it would have been really hard. I mean, it was painful enough to start. Oh, I mean, an exercise program always begins with pain because you're not used to it, right? But Jeff and I have talked a lot. We've had quite a bit of experience, working together in different business ventures and stuff like that. And um, one of the things that we've had to strive for is making low hurdles to jump over. Where it's like because we uh, we both have big dreams. We both have things we want to accomplish, and so we'd look at that. We'd be like, okay, we got to do this, and then we'd look at that, and it's like really scary. It's huge. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't think we're ever going to be able to make it over that. Okay, so then we'd have to like bring it down to smaller things to jump over, and it's like, okay, so let's start with this little step. Let's start with maybe it's too scary to call that, business executive guy, as a prospect or whatever. Maybe that's too scary of a thing. Well, let's start by just picking up our phone and celebrate the fact that we picked up the phone. Then let's dial it. That's
Ooh.
the next hurdle. That's a scary thing. Oh, and then we can celebrate that we picked up the phone and then we dialed it. Oh, you know, you can get all corny and, and be like,
I'm just imagining you and Jeff in a room, just like celebrating like every time. He picked it up.
we did.
Amazing.
We would too. It's crazy. And it worked. It did. Because then all of a sudden you're doing the things, you're in the process and you find out as you're in the middle of it, you're like, oh, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It's not so bad up here. But it was just like one little step at a time, and we'd pick a little hurdle to jump over, and then we'd be like, "Oh, we made that one. Let's pick another one." Boom. And then let's pick another one. Boom. And then before you know it, you're stepping up to those bigger ones and you're getting more and more comfortable. But every step along the way, you are pushing the boundaries of your comfort. That's what I want to encourage you to do. As you're doing these adjustments, it should push the boundaries of your comfort zone. Because in order to get where you want to go, you aren't where you want to be yet, right? That's the whole point of looking towards the future. Like, we're not at this point yet, so we want to get there. It's going to take more than you have right now to get there because you're not there yet. Otherwise, you'd be there.
Mhm.
So, there's going to be stuff you're going to go through that's not comfortable. So, rather than take a huge thing and like throw yourself into the shark's pit or whatever, it's like, whoa, this is horrible, crazy, terrible. No, start with a goldfish tank, like just take a little adjustment, like boom, little things. It's a little uncomfortable. This is new, but I can kind of handle it. It's okay. You know, it's like the gradual change, rather than jumping in a super hot tub, you know, stand in the shower and turn up the water a little bit warmer, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. And then you can get acclimated to the warmer water. And then before you know it, you're doing those things and you're looking back and you're like, wow, I never would have imagined it. And now here I am. But it was little adjustments along the way. It seemed really boring at the time, but they make all the difference. Right, Joe?
Mm-hmm. All the different.
Mm. That's what I got. You got anything else?
Nice. Um, yeah, I think you would have always had the better example, but with your um, kung fu,
Kung Fu,
taekwondo.
Taekwondo.
Oops.
Papacha!
of of just making the little adjustments because like you went through like 10 belts. How many belts is it?
I don't know. White, orange, yellow, camo, green, purple, blue, brown, red, recommended black. Yeah, I'm on my 10th belt.
Yeah. So like you didn't go white to black. Like, there's a whole series of ways to get to the end. Um, and so when we talk about making these little adjustments, Joe talked about making. Or Jeff put. All right, you make it 3 foot. No, wait, 6 inch hurdles. We start with the littlest things you possibly can, because it's true. You can break down very very massive tasks into very very little things, and by doing that, you give yourself the opportunity to be successful, and you can build success because once you start to get the form down, once you start to get proper things going, yeah, you could probably clear a 2 foot hurdle easy too. Why not? Just all right, we'll move it up. We'll move it up until it's something that you clear easily. And what you'll find is after you get used to, oh, I can get over the 6 inch hurdle with no problem. I can get over the foot hurdle with no problem. I can get over the 2 foot hurdle with no problem. You keep going and realizing, oh, I can be successful with doing pretty big tasks as relatively minor adjustments until you hit, I can't do that. And then you back it down to where you know that you can. And then you keep trying until you can get over that next hurdle. it's going to be these small things that get you to a place where you're making rather large, what other people would view as rather large changes, but you know that are relatively small for you.
You're gonna
Almost
blow people's minds.
yes. So I think another way that we could almost put this would be the little adjustments are the consistent adjustments. They're just things that you're doing regularly. Regular upkeep and maintenance. You change your car's oil on a regular basis. You don't have to take it in the shop as often.
That's true. You don't have to buy a new car as often either.
So, anywho, that's all I had left. So I'm really excited about tomorrow's topic. And I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see what you guys do with what we've talked about. I think it's gonna be really awesome.
Yep. I love what you were talking about, Joe. It's not earth shattering to make a little adjustment, but consistent little adjustments lead to what appear to be earth shattering results. And
Mm-hmm.
like Joe was saying, you're gonna like people are gonna look at you and they're gonna be like, how in the heck did you get to that point?
Mm-hmm.
And for you, it's just gonna be like it was a really boring journey. I just did this consistently, you over time, and now time passed and I was doing it consistently, and now here I am. Like it's the same with anything. People ask me how I got to be a good musician. It's like I just practiced consistently. I didn't practice like for 6 or 8 hours a day every day for years. No, it's just like 20, 30 minutes every day. But you do that over time and you find yourself in a whole new place. It's crazy. It's super cool. But I'm telling you, you guys can make a huge difference in your lives. You can make a huge difference in other people's lives. You can do great, great things by doing what seem to be mundane, simple little things consistently over time. It'll change your lives and the lives of those around you. And it'll be amazing to see. So, with that, I just want to let you guys know we got this link here for you. We've got a thing called Free for All Friday. This week, we're doing a topic called Hands by Raka. And so that's going to be cool. But if you have a topic, if you want to hear us talk about something, you want to try and stump us, you want to hear us, like muddle through something, it won't be Monday, but we'll try. But if there's something you'd just like to hear us talk about, or you want to bring attention to, or something like that, throw it in there. We'll talk about it on Friday, and it'll be good. So please do that. Also, you can just go to bss.studio. Stay tuned because Joe is going through our first 3DC results. He's going to have I don't even know how the results are going to come out of that, but there's going to be some kind of result.
Yes.
We're making this up as we go. It's going to be fun. So, so at any rate, you guys are awesome. Have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. Don't forget to come back tomorrow for when we talk about the big adjustments, the ones that feel big. Because, yeah, sometimes they can be pretty difficult, but they can also change your lives. They can turn you right around. If you're going in a weird direction, back on track really quick. So anyway, hope you guys had fun. We certainly did. And we'll see you guys tomorrow on Double Cup of Joe. Love you guys.